dude, why don't you get a job? It's been almost 21 years, and I still can't forget that incident. I still remember the words that embarrassed me so badly. I hated being in that position, and the shame was unbearable. Okay, let me relate the story. I was a foreign student in Texas. I never had much money. I got $150 a month from the church I attended for being the praise and worship leader, I guess. That was in the 90s. I used to split that with my brother. Anyway, after church one night, all the young people decided they were going out to get something to eat. Since I had no money, I mean $0, I opted out. Some of the guys begged me to go, and I refused over and over again. After some time and incessant pestering, one guy asked me, "Why don't you want to go with us?" In frustration, I decided to tell him why. Because I don't have any money. His response, "That's why? Come with us, I'll pay for you." Though I knew it was a bad idea, I decided to go. Plus, I was hungry. So, we all got there, a group of around 15 people. I think I ordered the cheapest thing on the menu so as not to be a burden to the fella. I still felt bad having someone pay for my meal. I guess it was my pride talking. When the time came to pay the check, everyone started shelling out cash. My wallet was empty and my pockets empty. If a roach fell in there, he'd probably break his neck. I looked at the guy who promised to pay for me, and it looked as if he forgot his promise. He was paying his own bill while ignoring me. So, I called out to him as softly as I could, "Bro, don't forget, you said you'll pay for me," trying to be as cool about it as possible. The guy looks at me, and as loud as he could, so that all the table could hear, he shouted, "Dude, why don't you get a job?" I felt so ashamed. If I could dig a hole and crawl into it at that moment, I would. All I could do was try my best to explain the situation. I'm a foreign student, and I'm not permitted to work in the US. I don't think that made any difference, but that was the truth. That was a very, very humbling experience to me. It was embarrassing as well. I never forgot it because that was the moment I learned that you must never think too highly of yourself. Being a pastor requires humility. For many pastors across the world, what they earn comes from handouts from congregants. Most pastors are not wealthy. Yet the profession has a stigma where the pastors are rich by stealing from the offering plate while the parishioners are poor. It takes a certain amount of humility to be a pastor. I know that God was teaching me this so many years ago. I remember growing up without many things. I remember wrapping toilet paper on a dried up branch to make a Christmas tree. It was fun nonetheless, and we gained no less joy from it than the family who had those fancy Christmas trees. Pride has no place in the ministry, and those who have it will feel the bitter effects of it. God just doesn't hate pride, He also despises a proud look. I think I had that. God used some of the experiences I had in Texas to save me from that wretched existence. If I didn't experience what I experienced, then I don't think I'd be any good as a minister. We become servants to others when we work for Christ. So, if you're struggling with pride, here's 5 things you want to remember and employ when living this life. Ready? 1. Sit in the lowest room. Jesus said, "But when thou art bidden, go and sit down in the lowest room, that when he that bade thee cometh, he may say unto thee, Friend, go up higher, then thou shalt have worship in the presence of them that sit at meat with thee." Luke 14:10. If you go to the highest room and it was not meant for you, then it will be quite embarrassing when you're told to get down to your allotted space. So, humble yourself. Sit in a low seat. Do not esteem yourself highly. Let godly people show you what you're worth to them. 2. I am an unprofitable servant. This is another thing Jesus taught us. No matter how many great things you do in the kingdom or in this life, it is quite right to say, as the Lord said in Luke 17:10, "So likewise, ye, when ye have done all those things which are commanded of you, say, We are unprofitable servants, we have done which was our duty to do." The work of the servant is the work of the servant. Bottom line. In other words, all that you do is what God expected you to do. If you have done great Great is what you were expected to do, for he placed you in that position for great things. Don't let pride arise when all that you've done is what you were supposed to do. It's kind of common sense. Number 3. Don't humble to be exalted. The Lord said in Luke 14:11, "For whosoever exalted himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted." I remember one guy boasting about how humble he was. If you don't get that, then probably you have a problem. So many people make the mistake to think that if they act humble, then they could somehow trick God or dupe God into promoting them. God exalts the humble, knowing that the ascension will not change them. So don't be humble to be exalted, be humble to be effective. In ministry, preacher man, humility is the most effective way to reach the world. Our Lord exemplified this. Number 4. Humility is not stupidity. I've seen so many people let others walk all over them in the name of humility. My dad always said that humility is not stupidity. Paul the Apostle was a humble man suffering so many things for the gospel's sake, but he never let people mistake his humility for weakness. Our Lord said in Matthew 10:16, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves." We are to exercise wisdom, knowing when to invest in people and when not to. Here in America, people come out of the woodworks with all sorts of stories. They expect you to be a sap and believe them because you're a Christian. We have to be wise. I must say, humility is not stupidity, but pride is stupid. Number 5. You are entitled to nothing. Humility eradicates the feeling of entitlement. A humble man knows that he is entitled to nothing in this world. Even salvation is a free gift of God, and humanity was never entitled to it. Pride preaches to you that you are supposed to have this and do that and all these great things. Not so. Entitlement replaces gratitude. Eradicate entitlement, then you'll know the value of someone else's sacrifice. We never deserved the work of the cross. We were never entitled to it. God gave us his son of his own free will. Pride tells you that God will listen to you because of who you are. No, God listens to you because of who Christ is. So, I could add to this list, but it is a good starting point. We need humble servants in the church. We need a remnant who will, like our Lord, love not their lives even unto death, even the death on the cross. When pride comes in, then sacrifice is never part of the equation. Unfortunately for the proud man, unless you deny yourself, take up your cross and follow the Lord, you have no part with him. When a man truly sees himself in the light of the incalculable Creator, one can't help but be humble. Now think about that. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you didn't like it now. Share it now. If you did not subscribe to Preacher Man TV yet, get on there and subscribe. Subscribe to Preacher Man TV on YouTube and click the little notification bell so that you won't miss another message. As soon as we upload it, you'll get a notification. God bless you.